Good evening. I'm Rick Dancer. Welcome to Get Real with Rick Dancer. And tonight we are going to get quite real. As many of you know, all over the state of Oregon, businesses, restaurants especially, and gyms are trying to figure out what they do, how they stay afloat. The governor has mandated that they are to shut down. They are to have only takeout food if they're a restaurant, and or seating in tents or something outside. And for everyone, that doesn't work. And so down in the town of Florence, Oregon, a number of restaurants are considering reopening, not in defiance of the governor's mandate, but honestly, just so they can pay their damn bills. And we have one very brave person who's joining us. This is Stacy. Hi, Stacy.
Hi.
And
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Stacy owns the Brown Hen, and right there on Highway 101. You've had it for how long?
13 years, going on 14.
And that was the Blue Hen before that, and it's kind of been a staple. I mean, it was gone for a few years, and you kind of brought it back, only you changed the color.
I did, exactly.
So tell me what happened. You made this decision that you're going to reopen, and you're not a defier.
No, I'm not at all.
What?
I have just been thinking about it for a couple of weeks, and I have always felt that we should be able to be open and, run our business and follow all the protocols and be responsible. And we just haven't been able to do that. And now it's just almost push come to shove because, we're in danger of losing our business and going through all our savings. And it's hard. It's not an easy decision. I did not make it lightly. I've not slept many nights. I've talked about it with my peers and people I respect and admire, and just came to the conclusion that I have to open. My employees really need to work. I really need to work to support myself and my family and my community. So it's just been really stressful and just really hard decision.
Because and you went and did some research with other folks who have done the same thing, took the chance and did it because you wanted to really know what you were up against.
I really did. I'll have to say that Trudy's in Springfield. She's been I just saw her on your show, and I had just decided to call her and tell her that I really admired her for her bravery and for her standing up for her business and her employees. And that's really how it started. And then she just really encouraged me to follow what I felt that I also should have to do for my employees who are, getting food baskets and, on unemployment, and they really missed working and they really want to work and they need to work and to support their families. And they're my family also. So just really felt a big responsibility to my staff and, my children and my business.
So talk to people, because I want some rubber to the road here. I think there's a lot of people who get really judgmental, and they come in and go, "Well, you're putting people at risk. You're putting the viruses. You're endangering people." What do you say to that?
Well, we are following all the health protocols, if not more now than we already were, because we, of course, don't want people to say, see, they opened up. We are causing more COVID to spread in our community. We're an older community, so we all have to watch out for our older community because we care about them. And it's just, we all took the OSHA COVID class this week, all my staff, and we're really well informed. And we just are really trying to do our very, very best to stay sanitary and clean. And my hands smell like bleach, and bleach is my friend and always has been for 14 years. So it's not like this is new for us. We always try to maintain a clean restaurant. So
I think that's what a lot of people don't understand. It's like these new rules came down for restaurants, and it's like, you guys have been doing most of this. You have to. This is what you do. You're a restaurant. You can't have people getting any kind of sickness from there.
Exactly. I've been in many restaurants in our town, and you can really lick the floor of some of them. They're so clean. The Hukilau, Linda at La Pomodori's. I mean, everybody, they just work so hard to maintain their businesses and take pride in their businesses. And they're all so clean. So this is nothing new to us. We are always trying to do the best that we can do to be sanitary and clean and food rotation. So that's really important to all of us.
Well, and I think what's bothersome about this, and you and I have talked about this a little bit, is that there hasn't been a bunch of cases that can be traced by their tracing to restaurants in Oregon. And
No,
yet
there
you
hasn't.
guys seem to be taking the biggest brunt in terms of business owners of anyone next to gyms.
Yes, exactly. And gyms are our gym here. They're so clean and so kind, and their clientele is mostly, I would say, retired. So I would say they would even going more above and beyond to take care of their clients and have their business and try to keep it open. And to guess day to day whether we're going to get to open or not is just unreasonable.
So talk to people about, you wrote up some stuff here and I want you to repeat some. Stacy had to take out loans and grants and PPLs. And so kind of explain that to people if you can.
So we all have applied for PPP loans, and a lot of us have gotten PPP loans, but we're not guaranteed that those are going to get forgiven. So I personally received $39,000, and I'm hoping that it gets forgiven. And I did everything I was supposed to do to see that it gets forgiven. But 2 months ago, I applied to see if it was going to get forgiven, and I still haven't heard. And then I did get a $10,000 grant for the EIDL loan, but I have to pay that back. And I have just recently paid off all my business loans from opening the business, from saving and working hard. And, now I'm back into debt, potentially $50,000. And I'm going through my IRA and my savings. And
whoa. You're in debt. This situation has put you in debt $50,000.
Potentially, yes.
And you're taking out of your retirement,
yes,
in order to pay your bills right now.
Yes, definitely.
So if somebody out there wants to criticize you and they're getting a paycheck, what do you say?
I just think they should try to live without their income for 9 months and have their business cut in half. I mean, we all work really hard in the summer, and we all are like squirrels. We feed our nuts to get us through the winter, and there aren't a lot of nuts this winter to get us through. Actually, in a restaurant, we don't run on a huge profit margin as it is. So we're lucky to have 1 or 2 months to get us through anyway. But now this has even made it worse. So
Garrett, who owns his comment, can you see the comments on there, Stacy?
I can't because I don't have my cheaters on.
Garrett owns Northwest Burger. He's a friend of mine. He says you don't have to pay any of the EIDL loans back.
Well, I haven't heard that yet.
So that's good news for you.
Yes. Well, that would be great.
So you've had other businesses, and I talked to some of them today because they knew we were doing this. They were calling me or texting me, and they couldn't make it tonight. But the Firehouse, there's other restaurants in town that are just on the edge of going to do the same thing.
I hope so. I mean, I think the terminology that's kind of been said a couple times is Florence backlash. And of course, nobody wants our community to have backlash on them for wanting to open up their business to save it. We don't want anything bad to happen in our community. Nobody does. So I think everybody's just so afraid to open because they're afraid our community is going to, attack them personally or online or on Yelp or there's so many avenues that you can get attacked and you just can't defend yourself.
So you learned from Trudy that you took down your Facebook pages and all your social media because people on here were so nasty to her that she said, you do not want to see that stuff because that is the visceral reaction by some people who aren't in your position.
Right. I mean, I would say most restaurant owners, when they get a bad review or they disappoint a customer, they think about it all night and they don't just push it away and say, oh, well, next time I'll do better. I think it all bothers us a lot. And we can't really do anything about it if somebody doesn't tell us about it personally. So
did you guys ever do the dining in the tent?
No, we try. It's Florence.
You're the coast.
So, I did just spend $5,000 to put up a wind wall so that we could even have umbrellas and tables out front just for the sun, and they just end up blowing down the highway still. So we did look into getting a tent and doing it ourselves, but it was like $5,000, and really, I don't have $5,000 also to do that, to eat outside, inside.
So as a restaurant owner, because everybody has been asking this question, I just like a guy who looks and I look at these tents and I'm going, how is that any different?
It's not. And I don't understand that either. It's really just basically eating inside, outside. Like I said, it just doesn't make sense.
Okay, so here's the other question, another question, and we want to make a point really quickly here, okay? Because I want to, I and Stacy both are so pro tribe and the casino. I'm not a gambler, but I love that casino. I love the tribe. They have done some wonderful things for me and my family, and I'm very tight knit with them and also the tribe in Coos Bay. But it is interesting because they 2 weeks ago opened to inside dining there at Three Rivers Casino. And that's kind of what got you going, wait a minute.
Kind of. Myself and other businesses also, think, well, if the casino is open, why can't we be open? Is it okay for them to be open because maybe they don't have to be governed by the mandate that we do? So that's okay, but it's not okay for us to open because we're mandated not to. I don't understand. It's hard to comprehend.
Do people in town think that feels unfair?
I honest to God, restaurant owners feel like it is unfair. I would say that that's what I have gathered, but I'm not sure about, our people of our town because I'm just so busy working and just trying to stay here and stay focused.
So talk to people about some of the responses that you've had, mostly overwhelming responses from your community. And if it's like over at Trudy's, they're showing up in droves and helping you, make your money.
We really, really have had a great response. And I'm so humbled by it because I don't even know what I expected. But we have had a really good positive experience. So
now you have also had some backlash, and can you tell me a little bit about that?
We really had just one man call yesterday. Just you couldn't get a word in edgewise. He was yelling and telling us we hope we burn in hell and we're bringing COVID here. And he did turn us into OSHA, which is fine. I'll reply. He called the police department on us, so they called us also. And we just explained that we're really trying to do the best we can with all the social protocols that we're supposed to be doing other than being open. So.
And the person who did this, I'm not trying to out too much because they didn't give you a name, which I was really, just for me, Stacy, my advice to you is when people, because I get them too, when people have fake names or no picture or won't give you a name, their comments don't stick. They have no credibility with me. But this person said, I'm a pillar in the community and I am so against what you're doing. And, and that's the thing that probably will happen a little more now that you're out, really out with people, because I got this last time when we did a show on Trudy's, and I'm just trying to put out information that I want to know why this happens. Do you sometimes think, oh my God, how come it's the restaurants and the gyms and us when, others are allowed, some employees are still being paid full salary. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I wear a mask when I go to the grocery store, go to Costco, and it's busy. Their lines were so long at Costco the other day before Christmas, and everybody's in there touching everything. And, same at Safeway, people are grabbing fruit, putting it back. It's when you watch and you're really trying to be aware, you can get COVID anywhere, not only at restaurants. And I just think we're being singled out. And I don't know why, because it doesn't seem to me like there's proof that COVID is really caused in restaurants specifically or gyms.
So if you could sit down with the governor and have a one-on-one conversation, what would it sound like?
I just really would like to know her reasoning and where she's getting her facts from or how she's getting her information to make this happen to all of us small businesses, especially restaurants, because it's not about me going against the governor. It's not political for me. It's just really about wondering why. And there's so much information out there and I never know what's true, what's not true, what to believe, what not to believe. I'm just confused and I'm just really trying to do the best I can do.
Because, I'm sure you hear the same thing I hear from my friends who support these kind of moves from the governor and this kind of stuff. And I keep hearing people tell me, Rick, you got to follow the science. You need to follow the data. I am. And I see no science or data that's pointing out restaurants as being a huge problem. And so if they aren't, why is this happening? And how many restaurants in Florence, especially for you guys, your slow season's coming up?
It definitely starts right after Thanksgiving-ish, end of October.
And then when you get into January and February, if you're like my friends here in Eugene who are restaurant owners, those are the two slowest months. January and February are just dead. So you're already with your head right here at the water level. And what happens? That's when all these restaurants are going to go under if something isn't done to change this.
Something. I don't know what needs to change, but I just hope that numbers start going down with the shot available now, or I don't know. I just don't know really what needs to happen. But I know we're all as restaurant owners want to do the best that we can do and be as safe as we can possibly be. None of us want anybody to get sick ever. So I have parents. My parents are older. My dad has Parkinson's. So, I'm aware, of how to be responsible.
So you told me when you were writing me on that, we were writing emails back and forth and stuff, and you said you're pretty much an introvert.
I am.
So this is probably the hardest thing you've ever done in your life.
The hardest. Yes. I'm usually a worker bee. I'm more than happy to volunteer, but I never want to be in charge because I'd rather just do a job that somebody tells me to do and make sure I can do it the best way. I don't want to be out there. So
why is it different this time?
I just think because it's important to let everybody know that we're all struggling and that although I chose to be reopened, that it's just, I don't know, I'm getting tongue-tied because I'm so nervous, but I just think it's wrong that we have to be closed and nobody else is having to close their business.
Right. So if people I can't see all the comments coming on here, and some of them I probably don't want to see, and you don't have your page. You guys, she doesn't have her page anymore, but all of you, tons of people are saying, they want to know where your address is. They want to send you money. They want to do all this stuff. There are ways to find out where it is. It's called the Brown Hen.
That Little Brown Hen Cafe.
Cafe in Florence. And for those of you who are going down, that's one way to show support, obviously, is go in, make it so that her employees are just going crazy.
My employees have been so grateful for the support we've received. They really are. Our servers have to tip a percentage of their tips to the back of our house restaurant, and they always give more. They always give we take care of our staff in every way that we can. So that's probably another thing we haven't really touched on too much, literally. But how many employees do you have? And this is because our unemployment system seems to work so well in Oregon, and people are waiting like for decades for their checks. You're committed to these people. Very committed to our people. We have 10 right now. We have usually 17 in the summer. So, and that's another thing. We also want to really keep our staff because we have such a great staff. We don't want them to have to move and find another job. They want to stay in this community. They want to work here. We want them to work here. So it's hard to find staff in Florence because we are an older community. So you're so grateful for the ones that want to work for you and that put out the effort and want to be here every day. So it's not easy being, in the restaurant industry. So you notified your chamber, your city, and everybody knew that you were doing this. You were trying to do all the right things. I really did. I talked to our chamber director, Bettina. She was very supportive. I talked to our mayor, Joe Henry. He's also very supportive, although he can't support us on an official level. Personally, he does support us. I called our police department. I called Lane County Sheriff just to let them know, just in case anything bad would happen, and that I don't want that. I don't want anything bad to happen to our restaurant or anybody's restaurant or any of the people in my community. So what would you say to the people who sit out there and say,
but you're putting people at risk and you're doing this. And you really don't believe you are putting people at risk, do you?
I really don't. We're really cleaning. We're really sanitizing. We're social distancing tables. We're doing everything we can. I just don't even know what more I could do. So,
do you expect that you'll see more of this in your community?
I hope so. I hope people take back their businesses, and if they're going belly up or they're struggling financially, like I'm sure we all are, I hope that they decide to open and be safe and try to do everything they can to maintain their business and our community at the same time.
So is there a part of you, Stacy, that, I know you're scared, and
Definitely.
I know this is really super, super hard.
It really is.
But is there a part of you that kind of goes, I can't believe that I care about something so much that I'm doing this?
Yeah, this is so not really me to put myself out there, but I really do care about my restaurant. I feel like I've worked really hard my whole life to be here, and I want to make my kids proud. So
that's important, huh?
It is.
Because when you have something that you create, and I think a lot of people that get a paycheck that's signed, why their job has great value, just as much value, when it's something that you create your own. And I never understood this when I was at KZI, because I had a check that was signed by someone else. But when it's my business, it's personal.
It is. I'm here every day. We open. We're the last ones to leave. There's not a job here that I won't do. I clean the bathrooms every day. I would do dishes. I scrub floors. I maintain the building. I help my staff in any way I can, So this means a lot to me. I put a lot of hard work in, and so is my staff. So.
Right. And you were telling me the other day that even people that are close to you are not completely, there's some that aren't completely supportive. And that's another hard part.
It's really hard. And, my daughter's slightly upset. I tried to have a conversation with her about opening, and, and she's not exactly happy with me, and that's really hurtful, but, we'll make it. So I love her. So.
And she loves you. Kids will always, hopefully when this whole thing is over, I was just writing this the other day, hindsight is 2020, and our vision may be 2020 for 2020, but maybe we learned something really important about ourselves. And Stacy, maybe, I'm not trying to, well, I am. Maybe you learn how tough you really are. Maybe we discover that, here's where we felt before, and now we're really feeling, and your employees will never look at you the same way again, ever. And you have to remember that when the people start scowling and the trolls come rolling out, that, strength is often, courage is like a really, really tough thing, because it's not really recognized for years later. At the time, it's seen by some, only those agree with you. Later is when your courage really shows up, and grandkids and kid, people in your community go, do you remember when Stacy and all those guys stood up for what they believed in? Because that's really super important. And I think the world needs to see that right now, Stacy, that people we can still have the ability to stand up for what we believe in.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. And I really want to thank Trudy for encouraging me also.
And also, guess what? Her husband, Mike, is going to my dentist, Michael Bratlin.
Exactly. He is.
We saw it on my show, and she said right off the top, guess what? We're going to go I made an appointment, and he's going to go see Dr. Bratlin because he really cares and supports shows like this. I could have put him on as a sponsor, but I didn't talk to him, and I never do that before I do it. And I just went, you know what? I'm going to eat this one. This one's on me. Because I love Florence, and I think this could be a really good move for everybody. We'll see what happens. So hang in there. Do not listen to the negative stuff. Okay.
I will. Thank you.
I got some great advice. It goes like this: it is none of my business what other people think of me.
Thank you. Yes.
It's none of your business what other people think of you. You're doing what you think is the right thing and what is true to you and your employees and your community. And you know what? Nobody else out there has a handle on right and truth. And in the end, you find out. And I think we're on a good side here.
Well, thank you for all the support, and thank you for everybody supporting us so far. We really do appreciate it.
If you have the ability to go on someone else's page and go look, 95% of these comments are people in the industry supporting you with positive things, positive thoughts, people saying, we appreciate you doing this. Thank you for standing up. Thank you for setting a standard. Most of that. Now, as we leave, then you have to be careful, because that's when the trolls come on and they start bashing you. I've learned how this works.
Probably not going to go on. So
Yeah.
you can
Maybe have Mike just go through and read some of the good ones and just ignore the bad ones.
Loving it.
Yes, I'm going to go home and I'm going to relax and try to decompress and snuggle with my dog.
There you go. All right. Well, I'm going to go home and have a beer.
Good idea. Maybe I will too.
All right, Stacy, next time I'm down, I'll come see you. I'll come back to the Little Brown Hen.
Thank you.
101 in Florence. That's where you guys go to show your support. All right, we got lots of questions. You're welcome. I'm going to close this out a little bit and we'll go from there. See you later. Wow. That's called guts. That's called brawn, courage. You know what? And you may disagree with her, and that's fine. That's your right. We all have the right to do that. We all have the freedom to agree and disagree with each other. That has not been taken away. But when people start standing up for something they created and that they own, when there's no data or science to show that they're causing a problem, that this is just oversight on someone's part, it's time people just stand up and do stuff. That woman's got grit. And while we will. I did last time I did this, I got slammed by Facebook pages and websites that tried to take me to town and tried to destroy my business, but it didn't happen. So there you go. I just think we should be asking questions. And if people are saying, just do this, don't ask questions, then you need to be really, really concerned. Instead of really, really hard, Governor Brown, we need to be really, really concerned. And we have a lot of questions and we need to get those answered. So I'm Rick Dancer. This is Get Real with Rick Dancer. And that's our show for tonight. Good night. Oh, please share this on your page. All of you. Just share that crap out of it so people on your page see it. It's so simple to do. Share it on your page and it'll go all over the place so people will see it, okay? That's what you need. And if you're on a page that is supportive of something like this, then you need to put it on there to inspire people in Oregon to take back what